Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives, and we are welcoming back our sister, our homegirl, our motherfucking peoples.
Family!
What up, girl?
What's up? What's good?
Yes.
You thought I was gone, but I came back.
She bite. Yes. We are so happy to have her back. Yeah. And how about you tell us, for folks who didn't catch your other episodes, just really quick about yourself.
Of course, I'm Mica. Did two previous episodes, one of course on Luther and one on Philip Perry, of course. Yeah. Here, but I am just a music lover for sure. Just a regular old 9-to-5 worker, you know what it is. But from Oakland, you know, East Oakland to be exact, where you want to pinpoint it. So just here to talk music with two of my favorite people in the world. Yes. So, you know.
Hey. How about you tell us what song you picked to talk with us about today?
I chose René and Angela, I'll Be Good. A certified jam.
Certified.
The bop of all bops that ever
Can you imagine? Have you seen anybody not dance to it when it come on?
Not even one time.
Not
even the squares.
True. No wallflowers on that one. If you got two left feet, you on the floor.
You don't need your feet. It's body roll.
That's
all you need.
Right.
Yeah. You got two left feet, two right feet, don't matter.
Oh, God.
Roll that body.
It is an all-purpose jam.
Yes.
Don't matter if you get limbs, all limbs can be included in this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hips, body, you know, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember first hearing this song, and how did it make you feel?
Man, you know, first time I heard this, it's probably my mom, of course, jamming to it, but it used to play on the radio, to be honest with you, a ton. Shout out to KBLX in the Bay Area. But I believe that's the first time I actually really heard it. But then also in my era a little bit, Foxy Brown, actually, her and Jay. Mm-hmm. So it's like and they played both heavily. So it was kind of like you knew the originator, and then you knew what the person that sampled it. So I mean, that's kind of, I would say, probably both ways I've heard it.
That bass line to this record
is nasty.
It's nasty. It's just funk, like just whoo. Cause is this the synth? Is it the synth bass line, or is it the regular bass? Because I always get a little confused by that. Because I know Bobby, his brother, plays the regular bass, but I
feel like with messing with like Angela, the God, that's what I like to call her.
Okay.
I feel like that's probably a regular bass. I can't tell you for sure.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be shocked if it was a synth too. But I just feel like it's a regular bass, because there's something about what a regular bass does to you.
Okay. Because I'm saying for this, the bass line and Angela's vocals are the star of this record. Period.
First of all,
but if it is a synth bass, then it's René playing. If it's the synth bass,
yeah, that's
synth bass for the whole record.
Oh, okay.
I mean, René, shout out to him, but
it's cute. Next,
him and his zoot suit, we were not here for. This record is all about Angela the God Winbush, okay? As soon as her part come on, she just said, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And this is my time here.
And Angela, when she's on the record, Angela mean, because she do little shit that she know people cannot do. And then, you know, the little,
Yeah, like, you know it. You know it. Everybody always knows that part. When you talk about a René and Angela record, you be like, you know that part, and everybody knows that part. She comes in and she just be like, it's almost a F you. It really is. It really is. That's her way of saying F you. Best.
Anytime me and Elise talk about Angela, we talk about, even though with this, but we talk about Treat You Right, when Angela was just doing crazy shit in that song, and I was just like, Angela, you're unfair. Like, you're completely unfair.
So Treat You Right almost is her solo stuff, right? But if you talk about this group thing, we know the rumors and what they talk about with Angela and all that stuff. Yeah. You can tell with every single duet, there's a part in the song that she completely takes over.
Yes.
And says, F you, I'm going for it. And
this is no longer your song, it's mine. Like,
it's mine. And especially with I'll Be Good, to me, what I love about it is the bass line is nasty, right? It's like funky, it's pretty. But the song has such a feminine energy to it.
Okay.
Like, I describe this song as if when a woman she put on that dress and those heels, and we feel moisturized, the makeup is hidden, and baby, we strutting down the street. That is how it feels. That is how that song feels. Like, I have arrived.
That's some real shit though. Because anytime I think about this, I think about it has like a disco element to it. But it's so 80s to me. Like, it has that like a little disco vibe to it, but they made it that 80s, that gave it that knock, that made it current for what time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I looked it up. It is a synth bass on it.
Oh, it is.
So René can his zoot suit in the studio.
Yeah, yes.
Included.
René, you got your shine. You know.
Got your little 10%.
But as far as René goes, on the songs that they have,
he jams.
His role in it, I kind of like that he just got to even nothing to call home about voice, because it's like it gives this like juxtaposition that I like, and it's just pleasing to my ear. It's kind of like it eases you into. It's like, get you ready for Angela.
That's true.
She just comes and just like, God.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because granted, he's not gonna hold up to her, but like, I love his verses in like, You Don't Have to Cry, or Imaginary Playmates and things like that. Like, because it's very subtle. It's in he does what he does, right? He's not Ron. He's not Ron. She was like, she went from René to Ron. Ron said, I'm a float too. Afterwards, you're not gonna be outshining me. So, but I do like René's part, because you're right. Like, it compliments, especially at that time, because she gonna come, like I said, she gonna come in, she gonna rip the door off the hinges.
She gonna cut up for sure. Any song that Angela come in, because after I listen to I'll Be Good, I always gotta listen to Rise and When It Comes to Love off the Rise album, because it gives me that feeling afterwards. Because I'm sorry, you play I'll Be Good at a party, it's letting you know we're not playing no games. Like, this is not a game.
And I like the 12-inch version, because you really
I forgot who we were talking to.
Get the dance break and everything, and then it keep giving that background where she's saying I'll be good. Come on, man. Like, and it just like takes you up each and every time. Like, but it's such a feminine, powerful feminine energy to it. And that really represents Angela Winbush in so many ways, right? She's a songwriter, she's a singer, she's a producer, she's this. And I feel like it just gives that energy, but then you do have that bass where it is funky, it's gritty a little bit, even though it got a little razzle dazzle to it with the synth.
Right.
It's very sassy.
It is. It really, she said,
when I'm good, I'm bad, and I'm bad, I'm better. When I'm at my best, There's no room to guess. I'll be good.
Baby, you be jamming. You be like, yes, turn it up. Like, yes.
That part you gotta be like,
yes. And it does give you that energy. Like, you put on your heels and your makeup hit.
And you know you look good.
I know I look good. I'm going outside.
When I'm good, I'm bad. When I'm bad, I'm better. Like, ooh.
So that ain't proper English. Shout out to Angela, but it's okay. We're not in grade school, but it made all the sense. It made all the sense, okay?
Made no sense and all the sense at the same damn time.
Right.
You know what I love too? Like, I even love Foxy's, right? Because Foxy she brings that same energy in there.
Yeah.
Like, Jay is just there, like René, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
He's just there. Even think about the video. He's just there, to be honest with you.
Well,
she brings that energy on that. Shout out to Foxy Brown, because she don't get as much love as she should, but
Agreed.
But when she sampled that, listen.
Because, and like you said, now it makes perfect sense, because Foxy do bring that femininity to the record. You know what I'm saying? Like, she go hard with it, but it's very feminine. You know what I mean? And Jay just like
Angela
goes dry. I'm just chilling. Like
Angela, she going hard, but very feminine.
That's why it was good that they called the albums. What is it called? The Street Called Desire?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, because this type of record has a little kind of feminine to it, but then coming in with them instrumentation and all that, it still made it street. Like, the dudes can rock to this joint. Like, even though Angela is eating this shit for filth, but at the end of the day, the dudes can be like, I'll be good. Like, just that, like, oh.
It's such a great record. That record is such an amazing record that will last the test of time, because just as much as people play, like I said, Foxy's part of cover here or sample that she did in her song, people play the original just as much. So
yeah,
that's what I absolutely love. Like, it's not lost of where that record comes from.
Nah, not at all.
Think about it, Angela Winbush. Come on, man.
And that's
Angela Winbush.
And a lot of people don't. And I'm glad you brought her in as a producer, a songwriter, all that. People don't give Angela that respect at all, and it bothers me. I'll be like, yo, y'all know Angela is out in these streets, and I was so glad when Janet got her Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She said, I want to thank Angela Winbush for really starting me off in this shit. Like, my first album, she wrote the damn first half. Like, and that's why I'm like, y'all, if Janet's giving her respect, it's some real, and you know Stephanie Mills bow down to freaking Angela. She like, that's my girl. She gave me both of my biggest hits of my career. Like, you know what I mean? And then I think we all know, I think Angela wrote damn near all of the songs with her and René, but we know how that goes. It was credit had to be given.
Is that even a question? I don't care who.
Y'all mean, I think
René, first of all,
I think Angela probably did the lion's share of it, but I don't know.
We were just sitting there chilling, because you think about back in that day, you had to have some type of talent.
Yeah.
So my man's in his zoot suit was still writing.
He was playing the music, so he had to get credit.
So I think he do have some credit, but I think if we're gonna talk about it, maybe it's like a 60-40, maybe a 65-35 type situation.
I
think that that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I don't think his name just got slapped on stuff like some people we know.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot. You go a lot of places with that.
But listen.
Shots fired.
Did she ever? Whoo! Damn, at least you hit my heart with that.
There. That's what they did. So you do that too. So
I mean, hey.
Damn, Elise, you done fucked up the thing just now. Yo, my
I mean, but that's true though, right? We know some people has taken credit or slapped it on here, but I mean, we think about
René.
Yeah.
You was talking about the wrong René. I digress. I'm sorry, y'all.
Something wrong with you, y'all.
Because I hate it. I get in it. Like Lauren, I get in it.
I get it.
No, but I mean, even with Angela, like you think about the work that she did in the 80s between the group, solo, but her work with also the Isley Brothers, like those Isley Brothers records that Ron is singing, you can actually, if you're familiar with Angela's voice, especially on this record,
yeah,
you can hear her.
Yeah.
Any song that she writes, you can hear her. Except, you know, Stephanie did take, I have learned to learn the
whole thing. That's a long
I've learned to
title.
respect the power of love.
Yeah, that. Now, Stephanie took that. Now, I don't hear Angela at all. And this is the thing. I love Angela's version, but Stephanie took that baby and
yeah, she put that umph into it, man.
I don't even think about Angela when I think about the song, even
because Stephanie sang that thing down.
Stephanie put that stank on it.
Right. Angela probably looked at her and said, "You little bitch."
Heifer.
You heifer, yeah. You
better be glad you're my girl.
You right.
You lucky. You're lucky your mother's a saint, because but man, yeah, I mean, like I said, I with this record, it's such a jam. Like you turn it on, you happy, you want to dance, you want to just like ride in a car with the windows down. You just it just has that type of feeling to it. And
yes. I just have to love. It's just like we said, it's so funky. That's what I like about it. It's so funky, like, and then it's just with Angela's background and just good, like that.
The stack vocals, the background vocals, the harmony. I mean, listen, they was in there doing work. I hope they get all the paychecks. Okay,
everything just coalesced perfectly on that song.
Yes.
There's nothing on it that's unnecessary.
Nothing is
everything is supposed to be there, and I'm glad it's there.
Even Angela's little riff that she's not being fair on, just them, and she knew where to go with it too. I was like, Angela, you ain't right, but I fuck with it, but you ain't right.
Yeah, you be at a dance break and she just start vocalizing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Right.
Nah, for real. Like, it's just, and like I said, the 12-inch version, you really just get your favorite parts. Like, where you really just get to dance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. As much as you love Renee's part and Angela's part, but it's just like, I'll just get the I'll Be Good, and it's just jamming.
I wonder when that record had came out.
If I could have been a fly on the wall.
Oh.
Like, you had to know that was a hit. Do you ever wonder, like, with songs like, dang, they had to know this was a hit.
I know when that joint like hit in the club and like when it first came out and that joint just came on, people probably was like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. I might be tired from being on the floor, but I'm about to stay. Fuck that. Like, you know,
right. When you walk off the floor and you run back.
Yeah, like,
hold up.
Wait a minute. Who is this now? That's when you go up and ask the DJ, now who this? Who this? Oh, this Angela and René? Oh, okay. Mind you, they do René and Angela, but we say Angela and René. I'm petty. Let me stop. It's all love, René.
Please, if you're watching this or any of his family members, just know these are jokes.
These are just jokes. Just jokes. It's all love.
And the Zoot Suits was, it was the 80s. We get it.
And that's so funny. They came out and they had on their little sweaters.
And little sweater, the little Mr.
That's
Rock
my favorite
sweater.
album from them, actually.
Hey, first of all, he kind of looks like a skinnier Bill Withers a little bit.
That part.
Which is wild.
Yes. That is my favorite album from them. Oh my God. Just Friends, Secret Rendezvous. Man, listen.
Imaginary Playmate.
Come on.
Imaginary Playmates is a jam.
And again,
we don't talk about duos
I
enough.
think René and Angela songs is Jay on.
Okay.
I said it's another one somewhere.
Yeah, probably somewhere.
I just think that their pairing, we don't talk about them as a duo enough. We either talk about Angela by herself, but when we talking about like duos, people don't bring them up enough.
That's true. Because were these big selling albums, but the one with Street Called Desire, what was the charts like with these albums? Because I don't know if they were that big, to be honest.
Let me see. I would say
I mean, I would think A Street Called Desire probably was a little bit higher.
Yeah, I know that probably.
Because most people go back to that record.
Yeah.
It was a top 5 R&B, 64 Billboard.
Okay.
It was a number 4 album it peaked at number 5, but yet it was a number 4 album of that year, but and number 47 Billboard of that year.
Oh, okay.
AKA, it was really for us. I mean, let's be honest here. It was
Black as hell. Black.
Yeah, I'll Be Good went number 47 on pop charts, number 4 R&B. But Save Your Love for number 1, that was a number 1 R&B song. And it was number 3 on dance.
Wow.
You Don't Have to Cry went number 2 R&B.
Well, she sing down on that thing. I mean, she come in. There's someone here now. Yes, it is. It's you. Okay, shout out to you.
All right. That part. Their music was just straight black. Like it was black.
And that's what the charts tell you, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, this is a classic album. That's a great record we talk about, right?
Yep.
That people live with, that we do.
Yep.
And it's number 4 on R&B, but it was number 47 on Billboard. So some people will call that's not a hit. That is a hit. It's a hit for us. It's a hit. This is a classic record for us, by us. Okay?
But a lot of times back then, even going into the 90s, we used to have number 1 songs on our charts, but they shit used to be like 60 and 40 and all this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Your Smile was number 1 R&B as well.
Oh, it was?
I'm down on that too. God.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the singles on this album, all the singles that were released off of this album, all charted in the top 5 of R&B.
And that's why it wasn't for us. We even had the album and still went and got the damn singles. That just sounds right. We wanted the 12 inches. We wanted that shit.
And these singles also did pretty good in the UK as well.
Oh, because they
smashed the dance charts too.
Because they be knowing.
They were top 10. The singles were top 10 in the dance charts.
You see what I'm saying? They be knowing. They know the deal. They know. Mm-hmm. They like music is music, period. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense, but I don't see this being, and then this is the year before music started to change. This was between 80 and 85. This was
right before the decline. Yeah,
right. Before the decline. Everybody coming out of disco trying to get it right. That's why I said.
Well, I still say like 70s is my favorite genre, but but that 80 to I don't even say 85, but I would say 80 to 84. Mm-hmm. Man, it's some great music in that 4-year span.
But it's some bad. It's like there's no in between 80 to 84. It's either really amazing or it is T-rash.
Because people try to find a sound, and
people were trying to figure out. It was very experimental.
Yeah, coming out of that disco era, everybody's like, what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's this sound going? You know what I mean?
But the little pocket from 85 to 87, it's some nice dance jams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that small little period of time.
Yeah.
Because we got this in 85, and right up to 87, it's some good jams.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they was experimenting, but like I said, there is some great music.
Oh, I agree.
Oh yeah.
We don't talk about the trash stuff because
it's really bad.
Yeah.
We don't know them.
But but also something I was talking to JR about yesterday is I think we do need to acknowledge the trash because people have this revisionist thing, especially about the 90s. They're like, oh, 90s, the best. And they're like, everybody didn't like everything in the 90s. It was some trash.
No.
And so I think it is important to talk about the bad too, to an extent, not in detail, but just to acknowledge that you don't know.
Trash. But there's some trash in every genre, every era. Like there's some trash in the 60s.
The only difference is we had more variety to pick from. So it was so much good stuff to choose from that the bad stuff we won't even mad about it.
Right.
And you know what a lot of it too is like if we're gonna with this 90s thing, like the things that you love about it is the best of that era. They're not sampling the trash, they're sampling the best. Oh.
Right. Because that's all they were doing. I mean, we just thought, look, we said Jay just did 2 damn songs from Angela and René. Like,
and we know.
You think about it. Foxy also did No One's Gonna Love You from SOS Band. That's 80s, yo. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that they copy is the cream of the crop from the 70s and that first 80s period, right? 80 to 84. So, I mean, when we're going to go back to it, that is really, I mean, we have some great records coming out of there. We do got to talk about the corny ones. But also, I think it was changing too, right? Because music has these ebbs and flows of where the sound is changing. Like at the 80s, you had funk a little bit, but then it was a mixture of people trying to do ballads. It was like, what is going on here? Everybody can't be her.
Yeah, and then some of the R&B were trying to do the new wave stuff a little too hard, and so it was just
And I also think
sometimes they did it good, but sometimes it didn't come out good.
Like even what we talked about, right? We talked about how A Street Called Desire was number 4 in the R&B, but it was number 47 on the Billboard. I think a lot of our artists got a way of, I'm okay with being number 4 in the R&B, and they were pushing their sound to try to adapt to going number 4 on the Billboard chart instead of being okay with, hey, I'm number 2 on the R&B charts.
And that's a decline to me.
That's the decline.
Instead of letting it just organically cross over. Yeah. People doing their own shit and it just kind of organic, somebody just happened to catch on to it. But that wasn't the aim.
And that is my problem, why I go so hard when it comes to Thriller. Because of that right there. What you just said, Mica, is the reason. It's like we didn't care about being number 1 on pop then, even in the 70s, even though it was happening, we didn't care. We just wanted to make good music. As long as our people was rocking with it, we good. Soon as Michael come along with this Thriller and sell all this shit, everybody's like, I want number 1s. I want this. I want to cross over to them. It's like, man, fuck them. Like, what about us? Like,
you also think about it, that's kind of probably why like Anita Baker's Rapture is like, amazing, right? Because she literally went top of the top on both sides. So now everybody trying to be that, and you can't be that. You're not
top of the top on both sides off of fucking straight jazz albums.
Period.
Because that's what they are.
And she's never changed it. She is who she is. And I wish a lot of our artists would just stay the same and just be happy with that. But I also will credit Angela Wynn, but she never really tried to change her sound.
Nope.
I make music, I write music, I produce music because my community loves it, right? I'll Be Good is a jam. We still get that at barbecues today, right?
Yeah.
Your Smile still plays. The younger artists still try to sample her music.
Yes,
here, right?
They do.
You know what I'm saying? So the legacy that you build and being comfortable in your sound there, I think that's a lot that should be credited for and respected.
Facts. Y'all preach. Y'all preach.
I think the mic has been dropped.
Yes, hello.
Like
Mica done dropped the mic a couple of times on this.
You picked the motherfucker back up, drop it again.
Yes, like I was like, shit.
I was like, encore, baby. It was like Bird in the Midnight.
The mic like,
cake back on.
Yes, you did.
Walked away from the stage and came, put the cake back on. Maceo! Come out here and put the cake back on.
Oh, you Jay Brown, my man. But yes.
You need to
before I sign out, can we talk about this wall behind you, Miss Ma'am?
Yes.
I ain't been able to not look at it the whole.
And funny enough, right here, Street Called Desire, as y'all can see.
Yes. Come on, Mica.
This is very grown and sexy.
Yes.
Got some albums, some CDs up there.
Good.
You know.
And she has good ones on her shelf, people.
Yes.
I like this a lot, girl.
Yes.
I ain't been able to stop looking at it the whole.
Everybody be gonna be like, "Oh, she got shit in the background. Don't come in here trying to steal nothing."
Yeah. Oh, she got the LaBelle, Luther, Urban Fire. See, this is the kind of wall I don't mind looking at.
got Rick James, Patty,
Rita. Yes.
Prince, of course.
Not playing games. Look at this.
That's Tina.
Yeah.
That's Natalie Cole. That's Maze, Preachy Frankie Beverly, the Live in New Orleans, and Johnny Guitar Watson.
She is nothing to fucking play with. I'm done.
You know, it'd be like a little funk and a little pimpish.
Okay.
You hear?
In the show notes, we're gonna leave Mica's Twitter, but don't come to her Twitter acting a fucking fool because she will let her block hand be known, and you might get a couple words.
Oh yeah.
If she got time that day, but she's a busy lady.
You already know.
Don't play with her
at all.
Not only do you have to deal with her, you gotta deal with us, and that ain't what you want.
That ain't what you want. No, not at all.
Gang.
Even though Mica be handling it.
They be a little late because it's already.
Yeah, because Mica already it's done. One tweet over, flop, and say her piece, and it's done. I'll be like, damn, Mica cutthroat like this.
You gotta let people know.
So we thank our sister for hanging out with us once again. It's always a good time.
Yes.
Like, always. So
yes,
absolutely. And you know, we all family here. So bring some more cousins. All you gotta do is like and subscribe and share it with your peoples on your social media or text your mama a link, whatever, you know, however you get it done.
She won't let the motherboard know, okay? All the deaconess.
Yeah, trustees, all of them.
And God knows our heart. We cuss a little bit, but we still some sanctified sinners, okay?
That's right. That's right.
But on that note, we love y'all, and we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace. Dang. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives, and today we are welcoming a new friend by the name of Darius. Hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing this morning?
Good now.
Good, considering. No, I was kidding. But yes, we're very glad to have you. And how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you like to tell the folks?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank y'all so much for the invite. I'm very happy to be here and have been very excited about the opportunity just to speak with y'all this morning. So yeah, definitely happy to be here. And about me, my name is Darius. Let's see, 33 years old, originally from Omaha, Nebraska, live in Atlanta, Georgia now. As far as like, you know, me and music, my dad is a jazz musician. His name's Russell Malone. He's a jazz guitarist, been in the industry for like a long time, worked with everybody. And then my mother, she and her sister, well, my aunties, they used to sing like in church or whatever as like a little group back when they were coming up. So like music was just always a big part of my life. Like me and my cousin, we grew up singing together. And then, you know, of course, I stepped in the choir stand, I think for the first time when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. And from then it was just, you know, rap. So like dealing with playing drums and piano and all that. Like, it's just always been a big part of my life. And, of course, with R&B, like, that's like, probably my one or two favorite genre right there. So it's just always been a big part of, just my thing. Like, my nickname back when I was coming up was Juke, because I was always that little kid singing or whatever. So like a jukebox or whatever. So yeah, but as far as coming to this show and everything, like JR and I got really cool over Twitter a few years back, and I believe he was tweeting about Motown, and Motown, matter of fact, like I've just been a huge Motown nerd from the time I was probably 8 or 9 years old. So I think our mutual friend Eric retweeted him on my timeline or something like that, and then he and I just started rapping from then on, and then we just like discovered like we had so much in common as far as like music, and it just clicked from there. So but I guess I'm getting a little bit off right now. But as far as about me, I actually I sing a little bit myself, so I'm trying to work on that, and hopefully I'll be dropping something for everybody to listen to pretty soon later on this year. So otherwise, I'm just really happy to be here and just enjoying the vibe already.
Yes.
I like him. Well, how about you tell the folks what song you picked to talk about today, and when is the first time you remember hearing it?
All right, so the song I chose to talk about today was Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Diana Ross. And the first time I remember hearing it, I was probably about 8 years old. And my parents my mom, she used to listen to like the old school station. So they were always playing like stuff from like the 60s and 70s, this back in the 90s. So of course, at first I'm trying to, hear what was current back then. I want to hear some TLC, some Jodeci or whatever. And, I just hear this song and I'm like, wait. And it was the radio version, so it didn't have like the full build up at first, and it just had like the little piano intro, the dun, 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 dun. And then when I heard that, I was like, yo, what is this? And it just kind of went from there. And then when it got to the little speaking part where her just, if you need me, call me and all that, I was like, yo, like it was just like I was in a trance. I didn't know what it was, but something about like the sound of her voice, and then just the way the song built up from like after the beat originally dropped, it just had me hooked. So yeah, and also the reason why I chose to talk about that song, the Supremes are one of my favorite groups. So of course, as an offset, like Diana Ross is one of my favorite singers, and Ain't No Mountain High Enough was actually the song that really started me just like diving on my Diana Ross rabbit hole down at a very, very early age. So that's why I chose that song in particular. Yeah. My bad for being so verbose about it.
No. I love it. And definitely this is Motown. So I'm in a world. I love this. You know what I'm saying? Because this is actually one of the Diana songs that I do like. You know what I'm saying? Because Darius, you know how I am. I know. Yeah. I'm with her with the Supremes rather than solo stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this. Yeah, go ahead, sis.
No, you go ahead. I was just agreeing.
Yeah, I just like this because I feel like this is, to me, the image that we love from Diana. I feel like they put this in the song. I feel like, Ashford and Simpson actually put her image and vibe into the record to me. Yes. So it was kind of like, okay, this is the Diana, this is the diva that we all know. You know exactly. What I mean? And then the talking part, that's when I was like, yeah, okay, I can dig it.
I think that's my favorite part is the talking part. And yes, traditionally the R&B representatives, we aren't the hugest Diana fans. Okay.
Oh, I'm aware.
And one thing about the show, we're very honest, about how that is one of the songs that we do like. Yes. And I think the talk, I like the way she sound talking on it. It's very entertaining to me. I like it.
Yeah. Nobody does drama like Diana Ross.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Like, I'm here for that.
And it's so crazy that Barry didn't even like it.
He did
at first.
Oh no, but you gotta also understand, in the early 70s, like, Barry just he had his views, I think, on what Motown was, in their mid 60s when they became, Motown, and he was always a little reluctant to change with the times. Think about his feelings about Cloud 9 initially, or what's going on, especially when it came to Diana, like when she was like going solo, he wasn't trying to let the reins on that at all. So I get it, but the part of being a good leader is realizing when you're wrong, and he was proven wrong on more than a few occasions.
Hello.
And
but what I also love about this record now, first and foremost, like as JR said, I love the Supremes, more as a group more than I'll ever love Diana Ross as a solo artist. But just with this song in particular, like when I think about Marvin and Tammy's original version, which I love, also another one of my favorite Motown records ever. It was so perfect. And I didn't think it could be improved on anymore, interpolated any better or any differently than what they had already done.
Right.
But when I heard, and of course I'd heard that one before as a child, before I'd heard Diana's version, or at least I remember hearing it first. But when I heard Diana's version, it was just like, okay, I see what you were just saying a couple minutes ago. Like, okay, y'all were really setting it up to really put Diana into it and become and set the stage for the diva that we all know and love. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't realize, she had actually done that song a couple years earlier with the Supremes and the Temptations albums or whatever. But that one, stuck more. It was more traditionally to the stuck closer to the original arrangement. Yes. But I also have to, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, the vision and just sheer genius of Ashford and Simpson to take that song from what they originally did with Marvin and Tammy, and then what they did with the Supremes and the Temptations a year later, and then for them to just completely reimagine it for what they did to Diana. And it's just like also Valerie Simpson on those background vocals. That was one of the things that initially captured me too, and still, but when I listen to the song now, just when I was listening to it this morning before we got on here, like that was just listening to her, like she's one of the things like I really zero in on the backgrounds, and I'm just like, man, it's so crazy because like, okay, you think, all right, cool, Diana Ross, just her like a little. It's a pop record, Diana Ross. Okay, cool. She redid Ain't No Mountain High Enough, but you don't realize unless you really like get into it. There are so many moving parts to that song that make it just the glorious masterpiece that it is in my mind. Like just from the okay, if you listen to like the long full version that's on the album, you have like the strings on the beginning, just real, calm and everything, and then you have that almost really Baptist sound piano coming on like a couple seconds later. Like, hold on, where's this going? And then and then this just all starts, and I'm like, yes, this is it right here.
And I was actually gonna say, and I'm glad you mentioned it, that one I'm sure Barry didn't like it because it sounded like a gospel record.
Exactly. But you also have to understand, Valerie Simpson was a gospel singer originally. Like, she's straight out the pews, out the choir stand. So it's like even the most pop sound. Exactly. And even like the most pop sounding stuff that they did from Motown always still had that gospel edge into it. And it's like, you can't take that out of it. So I feel like, especially, when they got the chance to just cut loose in the studio with Diana, because, okay, you have to remember, Reach Out and Touch was originally her first single solo after she was.
Yes, it was.
And while I love that song, it really didn't hit like that. It just kind of was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I think it maybe got to like number 30 or something like that. Not that I'm even big on charts, but it's just like Barry was big on chart positions, and
yes, he was.
You had the biggest girl group of the 1960s, and you bring her out, you couldn't have her flopping. So it's like, all right. As much as I love Ain't No Mountain High Enough, it just, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So, not Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. So, I feel like Ain't No Mountain High Enough was not just the follow-up single, but it was like the one, okay, look, y'all doubted me. Y'all said I was going to fizzle by myself. Y'all said I couldn't do it on my own. Y'all said he was really messing up by betting it all on me by myself. Can I say this on? Can I cuss real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough is Diana Ross saying, "Kiss my ass. I'm out here. I'm about to be that chick out here." And that was another thing that I loved about it too, because it was just like, look, just how you were talking about how they were like putting Diana into it. It was like she was announcing herself. It just, if you listen to it, almost sounds like she's making her grand entrance. Like, look, this is truly me emerging as the solo diva that I'm about to be. Watch out. So that's another reason why I just loved it so much.
And then I think now with Diana's version, they let Ashford and Simpson produce the record. Because with Marvin and Tammy's version, that was Harvey Cooper. And what's his name? Johnny Bristol. They did that. You know what I'm saying? So it was the songwriting that came from Ashford and Simpson, which Marvin and Tammy, they couldn't help to have that gospel in there. Because I would have loved to hear the demo. I'd have loved to hear
Yes.
the demo.
Yes.
I'd have loved to hear it. But it seemed like now this was their record when they did it with Diana. They got to write it, produce it, do all that, and they was able to just hone in on her. And I think that's what made them great songwriters and producers, that they got to get the essence of Diana in that song. Because Reach Out and Touch is more of a live record for her. She can do that live and be dramatic. And
it's a crowd favorite.
All that.
Like,
yeah.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I'm loving this. Go right in.
Another thing I was just gonna say is like, a lot of times people like to write Diana off as just like, doing pop fluff. I believe in Rolling Stone back in the 70s sometime, they were actually called her the princess of pop fluff, or something to that effect. And there's some credence to that statement, especially with her later work. But I feel like, with this record in particular, and then, some of the other stuff she did like in the early to mid 70s, like Ashford and Simpson had Diana just doing like pure soul records. And that's another thing I love about this. It's like you hear this songs in specifically, and it's like, just like Elise said a few minutes ago, it sounds like a gospel song, and then it just kind of takes off from there. And it's like, look, she was really like, it sounded like, she was just on a different plane almost. It was like, okay, look, I really have to make this known. This is me. I'm Diana Ross. People were saying, because remember in the Supreme's later years, they were criticized for, almost being too white or trying to, pander too much to white America, which, I mean, Berry Gordy, he definitely had his agenda with that one. But at the same time, I also feel like, that was Diana Ross getting back to her roots when she got on, did certain records like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and other ones that were in that vein. And again, I can't give enough credit to Ashford and Simpson for, giving her, for one, creating that vision, and then, creating it in such a way that Diana was the perfect vessel for it. And it's just, I don't know, I don't want to call it transcendent, but it's just something about the way that the record sounds like whenever I hear it. And you were asking about the first time I heard it, it's like I get transported back to like, riding in the backseat of my mom's car, when I was a little kid, I'm just like, yeah, this is it. It still sounds just as fresh. And it's like, I can't imagine if I would have been, around to hear it back in 1970 when it first dropped,
It's just like to me, it's like, I think this was the first time Barry finally realized, like, wait a minute. There's a change in music that's happening and I gotta catch on to it. Exactly. Because before then, it was just like, I think, honestly, if it was up to Barry, he would have gave her more Supremes type of shit.
Absolutely.
He would have gave her that and would have been like, okay, we're gonna do the solo shit, have the Dantes. I mean, hello, someday we'll be together. That was really a solo record for her.
It was,
but he was like, I'm not ready to push her out there yet. So I'm gonna put the Dantes and act like it's Mary and Cindy, right? And you know what I'm saying, and have it as Diana Ross and the Supremes. And I think eventually Barry stopped listening to what was going on in the world and was staying focused on what was going on, what was hitting for Motown, rather than seeing what's going on. Like when Aretha comes in 67, she changes it. You know what I'm saying? It's a shift. It's no longer about and thumb tap and doing this and snapping your fingers. It's about that gospel that we need. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that Ashford and Simpson was like, look, fuck that. We putting this gospel into this record. Like we have to. There's a change in music. It's no more of what, you know what I'm saying? I love
the babies and all that shit.
Yeah, it's not like what Doja Holland was doing anymore. It wasn't what Norman was on it. He was on it.
Well, Norman was on it. But you see, even after HGH left and created Invictus and Hot Wax, they even switched up their sound. Wild Bandit. Like the thing about it is, like I could have easily seen, like Diana, if Stay the Supremes would have stayed together into the 70s, like the original lineup. HGH would have never left Motown. Yeah. I could have seen them doing something like that. But even then, like you were saying, that don't sound like Come See About Me or anything like that, or what Barry would have tried to stick to. Yeah. So it's like, evolution. I feel like that's what about, and that's what I love about this. Really represented her evolution because it took her from front woman to solo, formidable solo artist, like a serious one. We hear about people going solo all the time, and it just kind of.
And then it shows that when you think of her version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, you don't think about nothing of the Supremes. You don't. You think like, okay, she was the lead, but you don't think about with this record. And I think that's what Ashford and Simpson wanted. I don't want you to think about the Supremes when it comes to her. because Reach Out and Touch, it was kind of like
it had a Supremes feel to it.
It was very Supreme-ish.
Yeah.
But when it got to this, it was like, okay, yeah, Diana's on some other shit now.
And for that single, it also it's like a sappy song, and you don't want to come out on us. You want to come out on a that's how you come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think about the people that went solo from groups and what their first singles was.
Exactly, always something huge.
You know, for example, think of Beyonce. She didn't come out with nothing savage. She came out with dun, 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 dun. Like, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up, but okay, the thing about it is a lot of people like to forget. Beyonce had Work It Out just like Diana had Reach Out and Touch Somebody's hand.
You better say it.
But you know, people would kind of rattle them off. But then next time they came back out, again, Kiss My Ass with Crazy in Love, Kiss My Ass but Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yep.
You come up with number ones.
Yep.
And you know, they didn't let up since. So
you right about that shit.
It's so bad, that song is so pitiful. I forgot that was I did.
A lot of people don't realize the Reach Out, because a lot of people think Reach Out and Touch is a Supreme song. They don't realize that was Diana's debut solo single. So yeah.
They don't. And it's just, oh God. Because to be honest, I was kind of nervous about hearing this version of Diana because I was so into the Supreme so much. I was just like, oh, I was like, okay. Because mind you, my mom took me through you know what I'm saying? I knew Diana from like Love Hangover and all that. I did. So she took me through the story. So I'm like, of course, I love Marvin and Tammy's version.
Oh, of course.
And then she did the Supremes version with her and the Temps. So I was like, okay, cool. But when I was like, my mom was like, oh yeah, wait till you hear this. And I was like, what? And she was like, this is the version Diana did, and it's slow. And I'm like, really? And she threw it on, and I was just like, oh, wait a minute. I like this. I was like, hold up a minute. I was like, okay. I was like, it's some gospel in there. And I was like, who did the production? And my mom said, Ashford and Simpson. I said, that's why. That's why. Because I said, if it would have been anybody else, we wouldn't have got that.
That would have been probably thrown on a bunch of unnecessary strings and smashed it up and just But again, I'm a strong believer that Ashford, she did her best solo work with Ashford and Simpson.
I agree.
Like especially throughout the 70s and everything.
Totally agree.
I don't believe anybody else pulled the type of one singing out of her that they did, because again, people had their what I consider their very valid criticisms of her singing and her as an artist and everything else. But I also feel like Ashford and Simpson, the work that she did with them showed what she was capable of at her best. And I feel like this song is a prime example of it.
Yeah, that's true, because it's like, think about it. After that album that Ashford and Simpson did, you go to the next one. That's what what's his name? Hal Davis did. Then you go after that, and then you go to what? Is it Diana? Then Surrender. A lot of them albums did not do that great.
No, they didn't. But it's funny you bring up. Okay, so the thing about it is Surrender, another one that Ashford and Simpson were at the helm on. And I feel like that it did flop back when it came out, but I feel like it's really one of her best solo albums that she put out, like completely. But what a lot of people also don't realize. Yeah, that one, yes. And did you read the morning paper? But which I'm sure you already know. But a lot of those, her first two solo albums, Surrender and Diana Ross the one before, a lot of those were from Valerie Simpson. That was supposed to be her first solo album.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So it was like I think when they realized the two albums after her debut with Ashford and Simpson flopped, it was like, all right, let's go back to them and see if we can get it. But by then it was like, again, Philly done started to come in. It was like
Detroit just wasn't the musical power. Well, by then they might have been LA, but the powerhouse that it was anymore. Like you said, they had Philly coming in and they just completely wrecked it. And
Philly, and then Doja Holland had a little bit of time with Honeycomb.
True.
So they was rocking. So it was just like, by the time that it was like, all right, it's time to do Lady Sings the Blues. And that's when everything kind of got big for her. As far as then, because before then, Diana had some flops now.
Oh, yeah, she definitely did.
She had some flops, but that first album, I must say, yes. That's the album I'm like, all right, Diana, you got me for a little bit of time. A little. A little bit.
I understand. And the thing about it is, people it's funny when we bring it up because, I understand, y'all have y'all's opinions about her, which I'm not even going to say it's like all the way off base, but people always talk about, yeah, she cool or whatever, or like she was cool when she was with his friends, but I'll mess with her solo. But then I'll bring up a song like this and then we might discuss it. It's like, okay, look, y'all got to give her a credit where it's due. So,
oh, shoot. At least, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about that. At least do that to me because I did that with Sade, right? And I was like, I'm just not the biggest fan of her at all. And she was like, really? And she just started naming songs. And then she was like, you like her.
I mean, you can lie.
He was like, oh yeah, I guess I am a fan.
I mean, hey, and the thing about it is there's so many people like that. They're not necessarily like my favorites, or I'm not gonna drop, money to see them in concert or whatever. But if they come on the radio, if I happen to hear them, I'm not gonna turn it off. Or they might have songs I like or something like that. So I get that. But
back then too, with this album too, with Diana's album, they really was like the public wasn't really accepting to it at all. They didn't accept this. It was just like. They was like, no, we want to see her with the group. We want her to see the front, blah, 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 blah. But you best believe Barry was going to spend any type of corporate dollars that he could.
Yeah, whatever he had to do.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, think about the embarrassment if he would have made this big to-do, the big farewell in Vegas, dropping all this stuff to the press about she was going to be this, that, and the third.
Yep.
And, like, he couldn't have her flop. Just like when you were talking about how he had to pull out Someday We'll Be Together. Those last, like, before them, after the stuff they did with Temptations, like, that last little singles with the Supremes didn't do that well either. So
no, they did
Barry
not.
couldn't have her go out on a low note. He had to have her go out, with a bang. So, but by the same token, he had to have her come out with a bang, too.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
I mean, he of course, when we look back through the annals of history now, it's like, all right, yeah, he was a genius. They pulled it off perfectly. But when we actually get into the weeds of it and like look at it, it's like, there was a lot of leg work that went into it. Even outside of leg work, launching her as a solo career and making sure the record hit, I just feel like the song itself is just like it's one of Ashford and Simpson's best. And they have a lot of tools in their crown, but that one really sticks out for me.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree. Oh my God.
Darius, she's so smart.
He is, yo. I love it. That's why I love talking to him on the timeline, yo. It's amazing. Amazing.
I appreciate it. And I told you it would be just fine.
No, you were right. Because JR, before you got on the call, I was telling Elise, I was like, look, I'm naturally camera shy, so I was like, man, I don't know, like. But once we actually got into it, I just feel like I've known. Well, I mean, you and I have known each other for a minute.
Yeah.
But I really just like with Elise, even I just feel like y'all might as well be sitting here at my table right now.
That's what I love about this. Like, so many people do the same thing that you do, Darren. They be like, we're nervous. No, forget that. Once we get into it, me and Elise be like, go ahead, take the show.
That was another thing. It was like I felt like I was gonna be talking too much and all that. So I'm like, I can't go on this show and
not at
just
all.
be running my mouth. But this was great. I really, really enjoyed this.
The mini episodes. That's not our show. That's y'all's show.
That's y'all's.
I'm just supporting. We just supporting Cass. We asked. I told you at the beginning. I said, really, we just asked the one question, and after that, it's off to the races. Told you.
And that's exactly how it happened.
Oh God!
But again, thank y'all so much for inviting me on here.
Listen, you got to come back and pick a song.
Y'all let me know when.
Your original song. That's.
Oh yeah.
Do that one. Do that one, please.
Okay. Yeah. I got a lot to say about that one too. So,
yes, because me and Elise will get very dramatic on that.
And the thing about it is, I'm not sure what made me, with my original song, the thing that made me switch it up, because I was just like, all right. Again, as I stated earlier, me and JR both kind of bonded over the Motown thing. So I'm like, you know what? Why not come on with a Motown song?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Are like in my top 5.
And then you picked a good Diana one. So I'm glad.
Thank you. Because right. That could have, as a fan, I'll admit that could have gone left.
It could have went.
I'm not one of those people who's delusional about my favorite artist. Even it's like, look, I can't admit when y'all do some whack shit.
That's a clip right there, y'all.
Yes. We thank you for coming on to hang out with us. We also appreciate everyone that's watching. We consider y'all family. So bring us some more cousins over here by,
Yes.
you know, liking and subscribing and definitely sharing it on your social media and just share it with, you know, just send somebody a text with the link,
Yes.
like y'all check this out, you know. But yes, but we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That.